All right, I feel called to make a video, and it's going to be about letting go, how to let go. We always hear about letting go. What does it really mean, to just drop it all, the baggage that comes with being a human, being held down by past experiences, traumas, heartbreaks, emotions, even happiness can hold us down if we don't know how to express ourselves. That's the act of repression. And we're not here to repress, we're here to express ourselves. So my name is Terra, and what I do is I basically study myself. I study my experiences, I study life. I sit in nature and I meditate, typical woo-woo hippie shit, right? But I feel like I have something of importance to say. So if you care enough, listen up. Letting go is a process. Letting go happens when we can just simply allow whatever we think we are, the experiences that we've cultivated, to simply just be washed away, to dissipate, so to speak. And that term is being thrown around a lot. The spiritual community, they always say, let go, and imagine yourself floating above your body to let go. But letting go can happen in many different ways. So I'm going to share my method. This is what I use to let go. Well, first off, I have my notes. First off, what is letting go, right? Kind of already touched on that, but basically, letting go is being able to release any feelings that you have, thoughts, pains, hidden emotions, just whatever goes on in the inner processes, that inner world. Not so much in the external. Sure, you can pick up an item and you can drop it. You're letting go, right? But it's more than just that physical experience. Letting go can be changing the way that you think about yourself. You're dropping one thought for another, or maybe dropping one thought for nothing at all. So letting go is a process. Letting go can be emotional, just as easily as it can be physical and thoughtful. But it's all about that inner world that is personal to the individual. We all have unique life experiences, and if we're not able to emotionally regulate, we can carry these experiences onward in our journeys, our individual paths, just in our life in general. So the process of letting go is to simply say, I'm tired of carrying this baggage and I'm wanting more life. I feel heavy, so let me relieve myself of this heaviness. That's what letting go is to me. So how do you do it? Well, through my work, through my meditation and observation of letting go in my process, and in the experimentation that I've been doing with other people, helping them let go, it can be different for the individuals. However, I feel like the basis of it is the same, meaning there's a strategy and a formula that can be applied to people, but the outcomes vary from person to person. As an example, someone may be feeling a deep pain in their heart, and what I do is guide them to their pain, and then they have to tackle that in their own time, and their pain may express themselves as tears. Their pain may express themselves as, or itself as, inner strife, conflict, whatever sort of repressed emotion is buried within the heart. Doesn't always have to be crying boo-hoo, but it could also just be pain, bodily pain. sorrow, sadness, heartache, heartbreak. Again, it depends on the individual. So I'm ranting at this point, but let me just go ahead and get into the process, right? So letting go, for me, starts with observing yourself. It's an observation, being aware of certain things. It says that, for example, I am aware of the fact that I am looking at my camera recording this video, right? Awareness has me in this position to be able to see myself effectively without any sort of gap. There's no filler in between. That's a process through meditation that I've also cultivated for myself. Meditation is simply the act of seeing what is here. The mind can get in the way, full of its thoughts. Meditation is simply saying, I am clearing the space to be able to see what is proper. So awareness is step one. Say you are feeling some type of way. You become aware that you are feeling some type of way. Step one is already done. You are now aware that you feel good or less than good. In your observing, there's just something there. It can be of the body, a pain. It can be of the mind, a thought. It can be emotional, like just the way that you're feeling. It can be many different things, but the fact is you are observing it, you are aware of it, and you are just with it. What most people tend to do when this thing happens is they distract themselves or they repress what is being felt. They say, oh, I don't like this feeling, so let me just go do this instead. I don't like this feeling, so let me just bury it within myself. I don't like this feeling, so let me go roll up. It's just whatever that person is used to as far as neglecting themselves. Emotional regulation isn't something that's taught in families as far as I'm concerned. I don't know where they do that at, but not over here. So it's up to us as the individual to be able to take responsibility for the way that we feel. No more emotional repression, but emotional expression, thought expression, feelings. So through your observing, you'll see something. Just pay attention to what that something is. I find that in my method, it's easy to identify one thing and work my way backwards to the source of that one thing. It says, I feel some type of way. So just focus on feeling that type of way. And then as the process goes along, you may be able to track it through memory. Oh, I feel this way because X, Y, Z. That process will just have to happen in its own time. But essentially, in the observing of something, that something is wanting to be released. Imagine it as a buoy or a cork. You go fishing or something. The cork is in the water, you see it, it's floating around doing its thing, and then immediately something drags it underneath. Naturally, the cork wants to rise up again, but there's a resistance to it, the fish. Something is dragging it downwards. Whenever there's not a fish, the cork will naturally float. You can say that in your emotions, they want to float and be seen on the surface. But we step in the way of these processes by dragging it down, repressing it. We don't want to feel it. We don't want to see it. But what we can learn to do is let go of it and just let it be on top of the water. Let the emotions be on top of the mind. Let the emotions be at the forefront of who we are and what we observe. So in that process, you begin to feel the intensity of what is being shown to you. If we're so used to running away from things through repression, the act of being able to just simply sit and observe this something that is floating on the surface will put us in a new paradigm. It's a new way of operating. Repression, tucking away, repressing it. Suppressing it is even stuffing it down. Expression is more so letting it out. So we want to express ourselves. Express what is that something that is being observed. It can be a thought. It can be a remembrance of something. It can be an emotion, again. It can really be anything. But observe it. If you focus on that thing long enough, through the intensity of it, whatever it is, pain, sadness, sorrow, joy, happiness, elation, grief, if you focus on it long enough, it'll continue to run its course. Emotion is energy. Energy and motion. My mentor taught me that. Energy and motion is already going. Repression is the act of trying to stop that thing from going. Why do such a thing? How stupid. Expression is allowing the thing to keep on moving. It will really express itself through us if we let it. So in the observing of the thing, in the letting go of whatever's happening thing, by getting out of the way, we allow the thing to take its course. In the act of taking its course, we will feel some things. We'll see some things running across our mind. We'll feel antsy. We'll feel jittery. We might feel pain in the body. We'll feel something because something is happening. It's a process. Imagine cooking. You start the process of cooking something. Things go on when you put the oil in the pan, when you put the chicken in the pan. Things pop up, things fly around, smells happen, sensations, you get to see the things cook. Everything is a process. So the emotional process is one where maybe thoughts scatter in the brain. Maybe things feel tight and suffocating and intense. Maybe the body wants to twitch. Maybe the fingers lose sensation. Maybe the breath becomes tight. That's all a part of the process. Get out of the way of that. The beautiful thing about this is that you can find a focal point in this. There is something that is watching all of this happen. There is you who is experiencing this process, and then there is you or that which is observing this whole process. Find something to anchor to. If you can anchor to that which sees all of this, beautiful. But if not, find something that you can anchor down to. It can be breath work, choosing to breathe through this process. It can be a mantra that you tell yourself. Something I like to do is say, "This too shall pass." So if I'm feeling an intense process, I say, "This too shall pass." And it helps me to remind myself, oh yeah, I'm just observing that something is happening. And I know that this process is going to eventually dissipate. It may take minutes, it may take hours, it may take days. Some processes are longer than others. It depends on the repression. But find something you can anchor yourself into. It can be movement as well. Tapping. Rhythmic tapping, whatever works best for you. Journaling, whining, expression. The body will have its own natural magic. So sometimes you have to look a little weird to get these things out. If you want to be private in this practice, then do so. But think about a baby. Think about a young child. And when a child is feeling not so good, there's a process that's happening within it. And immediately the child or baby will murmur, it'll whine, make an ugly face, because that's what's best in the act of expressing what is here. It says, I don't like this, But if it does like something, what does it do? It smiles, it's yeah. Laughter. It depends on the process. And we're no different from children. We were children at one point. We just have bigger bodies, but we forgot how to express ourselves due to society and the lack of true expression in that. That's a different topic. It's another day. I just want you to focus on the act of expressing yourself the best way that you can in the process. Less intense process, express yourself. More intense process, express yourself. The more that you focus and have a concentrated effort on releasing the emotions that are stuck within you in this letting go process, the easier it becomes and the less intense the emotions get. It's like you have a fire burning inside of you. And so long as you don't add more fuel to the fire or add any more leaves and sticks, then the fire will eventually dwindle out. In these processes, it can become easy to identify with what is being shown to you through your thoughts, through your emotions. And when you choose to put energy into these things by giving it attention, active attention, then you're essentially adding fuel to the fire. Observing is one thing, but being active towards it is another thing. There are processes or methods that one can use to express themselves to either build the fire or allow the fire to burn out in its own right. Say you want to gossip about the way that you feel, you want to share it and express it, you're just continuating the energy. But if you are conscious enough in your expression, you are aware enough in your expression, then you may also be putting out the fire. It depends on where you are in that thing that's happening. That might be a little confusing for some of you. And some of you might just get it immediately. Play around and find out. So, get out of the way is what I mean. Just get out of the way of whatever process is happening. If you feel uncomfortable, that's fine. Continue to feel uncomfortable until discomfort has passed. It's all about that focal point. Focusing and remaining concentrated in that process. Now what will happen is the flame will dwindle, the energy will dissipate. And you might find yourself at the end of this process feeling better, feeling relieved, feeling joyous, after having moved through pain or sorrow or happiness, whatever was repressed in you. And if you haven't gotten it all out, you'll find that some of the thoughts will resurface, some of the feelings will resurface, but they don't have the same type of hold on you. Maybe it feels like there's a little bit more space between you and the thing that you just went through. Something that was once so distracting and destructive is now just sort of a blip in the mind without any sort of weight to it. If there's still something there, continue that process of focal concentration, just staying with it, acting it out, writing it out, singing it out, dancing it out, moving it out, whatever that expression is for you as the individual. And in that rinse and repeating, the flame dies. You're left with just embers and smoke at this point. No need to pour gasoline on it. No need to put dry leaves in it. Don't start it back up. Let that fire die out completely. Now you're left with all of this space. There's just clarity. There's just something here that was not there before. And you might feel a little bit better. You probably will. You'll come to some understandings about yourself. Maybe the world around you will shift in such a way you won't really understand it because things look the same. And yet everything feels so different. That's the act of letting go. That's the process of letting go. Letting go is something that you have to move through. The only way out is through. And because we've been conditioned to ignore our feelings, we never move through it. But just take a chance. Move through some things. Sit with your discomfort. Dance in your discomfort. Move your body the way it wants to move. Jump around. If you want to use your imagination, that works too. Whatever works best for you. Imagination doesn't really work too well for me. I can, but there are other methods that suit me better. We're all individuals here. We're all different. We have different methods. One man's poison may be another man's antidote. So I want to keep this sort of short, concise, and sweet. I feel like this video is already too long. But essentially, that is the process of letting go. The acts of letting go. Moving through it all. So I hope that helped. I'll probably make some more videos. This is like my first one, so we're just getting into it. And yeah. Good luck letting go. Figure it out. You'll do it. Or suffer. Choice is yours, really.